So I want to share with you tonight what I believe is an old family recipe. It is one of my favorites, and it has become one of my wife's favorites. This is roasted rice. The first thing that you're going to need is the proper dish. You need one that has some sort of lid. My mom always made it in. It's one of these casserole dishes with a lid on it. Now I came across, I received this one from my mom, and then I picked up another one along the way, and I found they are not the same size. So this one is a 2-quart or 2-liter dish, and that is the ideal size for this recipe. And like I said, you want a lid. You could make this in a different dish and use tin foil for the lid. We have done that when we've needed to like double the recipe for a family gathering. But it does seem to taste better this way. It might be my own psyche, but this is how it goes. So in this dish, you are going to pour 1 cup of long grain white rice. Now my mom indicates that there is, not all rice is created equal. So you need a good quality rice. We have found that the Mahatma brand works very well. The other one that we used all growing up was Lighthouse brand. So long grain white rice, 1 cup, straight in the pan. Now, I have found that this portion turns out better if you make the rice as thin as possible. So I just take the back of my hand, try to scoot it up the sides, and try to thin it out. Otherwise, you won't get a good roasting of the rice that is in the middle. So we want it as thin as possible, like so. And then you're going to put it in the oven, just like this, at 375. And you're going to roast the rice until it just starts to turn brown, which should take about 10 minutes, give or take. I'm going to read you the instructions that I got from my mother, and then I'm going to show you how she taught me to make it. So, the other ingredients you will need: some bouillon cubes, some onion, celery salt. I found through experience that ingredient is vital. Butter and boiling water. So after you brown the rice, roast the rice, the instructions say put other ingredients in glass casserole dish. Follow boiling water promptly with rice. And then you put it in the cover and bake it in the oven. Well, I don't know if my mom started doing this as a shortcut or how this came about, but she started roasting the rice in the pan itself and doing the other ingredients in a regular saucepan, and putting everything all together and bringing that to a boil, and then just adding it to the rice when the rice was ready. I've got the rice in the oven starting to roast, and so I'm now going to start mixing the liquid portion. And so first thing I need is 2.5 cups of water. My 2.5 cups of water. I'm going to turn that on fairly high. And now I'm going to add the other ingredients. We need 3 bouillon cubes. I like the powder version, which is 1 teaspoon is the equivalent of a bouillon cube, so I need 3 of these. bouillon. And then it calls for 1/4 cup of onion. I don't particularly like the texture of onion, although I am okay with the flavor. And my wife's not an onion fan. So, a long time ago, I started using onion flakes. They're cut up small enough that I can tolerate them. So the other option would be minced onion, but back when I was growing up, it was a regular cut up onion that I would usually scrape out on the plate. I've got less than 1/4 cup here, but I'm just going to finish this up and call that good for today. Those will rehydrate in the water, so I find they work really well. Now we need 1 teaspoon celery salt. Local store. I found this big container of celery salt. It works fantastic for this. And finally, a 1/4 cup of butter, which is the equivalent of 1/2 cube. And if it's straight out of the fridge, it's okay because the water will melt it. The water and the other ingredients are boiling. And now I'm going to just turn the heat source off and just let it sit on the stove until the rice is ready. Let's take a peek and see how we're doing. We should still have a few minutes to go. It's still looking white, so we'll wait for a few more minutes. You could let this brown a little bit more, but I'm going to press forward at this point. So if you come take a look, you can see the edges are just starting to brown. Okay, so you could go a little bit more brown, but this is good enough for tonight. And so now, taking the liquids, I'm pouring it straight in. This is going to bubble. Add the lid. Back in. Now you're going to adjust the temperature on the stove down to 350 and let it bake for 30 minutes. It's been about half an hour. Looks like the rice is done. And that is what you have. So we'll dish it up. This recipe goes really well with chicken or pork chops or anything like that. It's a great complimentary dish, and like I said, it's one of my favorites. I can eat almost this whole thing by myself on a regular day. All right, pop the top, and this isn't her first reaction because she has had this recipe before. But we'll see the first reaction to this.
It's hot.
And there you have it. That is the ultimate stamp of approval right there. So, if you can get the edges to crisp up a little bit, that's my personal favorite part. And this also reheats fairly well too, so you don't have to eat it all at once. A little time in the microwave, and it is ready to go.
Okay.
That's a good batch. If you try this recipe, post down in the comments what you thought of it. Thanks for watching. Give us a like and a subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.